Hi, and welcome to Behind the Paddle. I am Porcelain Victoria.
And I am Emily Sin.
Yeah, and today we are going to talk about client etiquette in sex work. I'm very excited for this one. It's one of those subjects where I can just talk about it and talk about it. It's great. It's going to be so nice.
Oh, this could be so cool. Like, you could have on your website, the YouTube video, embedded into the website so that people have to watch this to know what the rules are before they come to see you.
Oh, it's like Torture Garden.
Yeah,
because they have their rules and things. They have a little clip. But yeah, oh my god, that'd be so cool.
Nice. Definitely doing that.
Yes.
Cool. So just to start off, how do you prefer clients to kind of approach you initially? What is kind of the ideal message you would receive, or something that you maybe have had quite a lot in the past that you've been like, no, that's an instant no more contact kind of thing?
Okay, so the ideal way, well, it would be just somebody instantly paying me. Just because my details are there on the website. And on all the platforms there are my bank details or gift cards and things. That would be most ideal. But filling in my form, because most mistresses, most escorts, sex workers, they have a form of sorts. It's very good. It's very nice to know what date, what time, what do you want to do in the session, and how long do you want the session.
Totally.
And if you can pay a deposit as well. So yeah, the ideal way of contacting me would be fill in my form.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to read through massive paragraphs or just read in general something which isn't in my format.
Yeah, totally.
Which
you know and use
presented
and is easy for you. Yeah, totally.
I've spent time on making my whole profile, my whole aesthetic, my whole website and things. So out of respect, use it, read it, do that. That shows me that you've actually read my profile at least a bit, and you respect it enough that you've used the format which I want. Yeah. And I've told you to use as well.
Yeah, they've followed your instructions. Yeah. It's a good start. That's totally fair.
Yeah. There has been clients who have said, oh, could I get a discount because I'm handsome?
Oh my god.
Or I've got a big penis.
Oh, that's so cringy.
It really is.
That's through me. What would you even say? Something like that?
No.
Just block.
I mean, it depends how I'm feeling.
So, did your mum tell you that?
I know. It depends how I'm feeling, because sometimes I will lecture them and be like, just because you've said you're white, just because you've said you have a good penis or you know how to please a woman, I'm fucking sure. And you think you're handsome. I think that's the majority of it, yeah. White, tall, handsome.
Wait, they've been can I get a discount because I'm white?
Yeah.
What actually?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck's that got to do with anything at all?
So there are sex workers who won't see people of colour.
Oh, right, okay.
There are some sex workers who are very particular with who they meet. Yeah. But some white men think they're just superior in a way. That because they're white.
That's they're like, oh, can I get a discount?
Yeah, it's crazy.
The white supremacy discount. Oh my god. That's horrendous.
Yeah, it's quite common, sadly. And it would be like, oh, I'm well educated. I'm like, I don't care.
I would be screenshotting that shit and outing them if somebody said that to me. That is absolutely not.
If you look on my old phone and all my previous messages, you'll find at least 10 easy of men just saying that, and that gives me the ick. Yeah, it absolutely turns me off.
It's just filled me with rage right now. I'm oh, it's really horrible.
But yeah, there are guys sadly like that, and they'll expect a discount or something. There will be people who they'll be like, oh, what's your rates for like cam or something?
Yeah.
And I give
so they
them,
try and like, aye.
And they're just like, oh, my phone's up there. I would give an example. I'm just trying to think of how exactly he worded it. This was the other day.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh, I would so see you if you were a bit cheaper. Something like that. And I was like, no.
What boggles my mind is like, I love taking all of these conversations that you have with people and putting them in the context of like, if you were a plumber.
Right?
Like, did I get a discount because I'm white? Like, no. Like, it's just, but it's the same level of relevancy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you kind of just like phone somebody up and be like, oh, I don't like your prices. Can you make them lower?
Yeah, I believe it is misogyny.
Oh, totally.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Because I said to the guy, I was like, no.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, would you do it for this price? And I was like, no. And then he said, oh, okay then. Yeah, something along the lines of I wish it were cheaper or some shit like that. And I was like, right, look, mate, I would have, I did say to him, I was like, right, I'm not prepared to go on cam for this price, but I will happily text for this price.
Yeah.
So I was doing him a favour.
Yeah.
And he still said no to that.
And
I was like, right, well, clients like you really burn people out, burn sex workers out, and I don't want to deal with you if you're always going to say I'm too expensive when you know my prices, and you can keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
There is just no need for clients, if you could even call them that, because they can't even get, they don't even act like actual clients.
Aye. They're not spending any money. At that point, they're not a client. They're just interested.
Exactly.
Like,
I had a guy message me.
Acting like they are.
Again, I had a guy message me this week, and he was just like, oh, mistress, have you like went to the toilet today? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh no, that sucks. And I'm like, sorry, do you want to book a session?
Yeah.
Or are you just here to whinge at me? And he was like, what was it? He was like, oh yeah, I'd like to book a session, but only when like you really need to or something. I was like, right, well, you're not going to catch me last minute. No. Because I'm not going to wait on you hand and foot.
You've got a 2-hour window beforehand that the people need to let you know. Like, that's no...
Exactly. And I'm always not available, and and sometimes like I don't have childcare and things like that. So it's like, why are you wasting my time sending me a rogue message?
Yeah.
When you don't actually want to pay me or anything like that. And the last message I sent to him was like, right, you can either pay me now or pay me a deposit when you know when you want a session. Yeah. And I got no reply back. Yeah. Because they're just time wasters. Or just people who want to chance it and just are disrespectful.
Totally.
So I would say, don't approach me in any of those. Approach me with my form, or with a nice tribute, or both, or just don't message somebody and be like, "Hi, you available?" Yeah. Look at my profile and send me the form.
Aye, like read it first. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand why you would want to use a service of someone that you've not read their profile, because how do you know that they do what you want? Like, how do you know that they offer the services that you're looking for? Yeah. Like, it's a mutually beneficial thing. Like, they're there for them as well as you. Like,
yeah. I've had guys where I've sent them my form to fill in and they've absolutely ignored me. Yeah. And it's like, right, okay, so you really didn't want to see me that much then, if you're not going to respect how I do things.
Like a 2-minute form.
Yeah. And people are like, oh, why are you giving me a menu? And it's like, it's not a freaking menu. You just fill it in. Yeah. It's a form like any other. But yeah, just approach me like that. Don't be like, I'm a white man, gives a discount, or try and haggle me, because I really do not appreciate haggling or anything like that.
It's just rude. Like,
It is, yeah.
So honorifics. How do you prefer to be called? Like, do you prefer someone asks you first, or do you just kind of go with what your client wants at that particular time? What's the vibe?
So for me, usually I ask the client what they want to call me.
Yeah.
Because doing this for 7 years, I've learned like things can change on how the client sees you and views you, and in the ways of I've started off with somebody saying mistress, and then it's went all the way down to Miss, and then Victoria.
Yeah.
And I've went the other way as well. So it all depends what the client wants really, and what they're comfortable with doing. I'm not gonna force somebody to say something they either don't believe in or don't want, or
doesn't like resonate with them.
Yeah, or it's just not there with them. Especially if it's BDSM, there is a lot of things to think about and talk about and trust to be earned.
Yeah.
I think the whole Oreo, Hershey, I don't know which one that was. I think there is the earning of the word mistress.
Yeah.
Or governess and things like that.
Yeah.
The top roles.
They're more like a title.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice. I do think, as well as the submissive being owned or being called my submissive or something, it still should be earned.
Yeah, totally.
So celebrated at some point. But yeah, whenever and whatever, as long as I approve it.
Yeah, totally.
The client can call me what they like.
Cool. Is there any ones that you just don't like?
Don't call me a slut and a whore.
Fair.
Like, I have had the clients say that while sessioning, and the majority of it is
I take it that's been an escort. Yeah. I was going to say that would be a bit like strange to come out with and like a dominance.
Well, there was a dom booking that turned escort, and so he thought that he could switch.
Yeah.
And then he started calling me names, and I chucked them out. So that was great.
Fair.
But yeah, I don't like being called names like that. I didn't sign up for being called names like that, and you certainly did not get my consent.
Yeah.
Usually, there is no talk beforehand on what you can call me in terms of like escort bookings.
Yeah, like there's no as much of like a kind of sit down before.
Yeah, there's not like a thought process. Yeah, there should be.
So is the form just for clients that are coming to you for like dominate?
No, the form is for everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So does that not cover like rules about like boundaries you have?
In what way?
Like you saying like that's not okay for them to say that. Is that like?
It's not something that I would think to mention.
Yeah.
Unless the guy, and I say guy because it usually is guys that I work with, unless the guy gives off those vibes.
Yeah.
It's never really something like, if he attempts to be dominant towards me, then I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I have had guys in the past call me names and things like that. And it
should be something that goes without saying. Like, I totally get that. Like, if it's not something that's happening like regularly, like why would you include it when you can kind of play it by ear in the situation? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, there has been guys who have said it in the past, and it's like, no. And like I've just put on like a horrible look of like, ew, why? And then I've just made them come quickly or something.
Yeah,
and
get
then
them out.
Yeah, and then had the talk with them afterwards.
Yeah,
because for me, I don't want to kill it, because then I could get like a bad review, or I could get or the guy could turn abusive or something like that.
Like you want to have that conversation when you're away from them because they've already crossed a line. Yeah, I totally get that.
It's like when guys have like poor hygiene. You will wound their feelings and things like that.
Yeah,
and they might not want to continue the session, which it's their fault.
Yeah, but you don't want to like shame them, like. At least sometimes. Not when you're with them.
yeah, like usually I will send them a message afterwards being like, wash your asshole.
Yeah.
Wash your penis and things like that. Like there's always like baby wipes to hand and things in the shower.
Yeah.
And they always have that option to shower. And I think if I mention it more than once, they usually get the hint to shower.
Yeah.
But there has been times where I'm just like, you need to shower.
Yeah.
You need to like sort yourself out. Again, etiquette.
Yeah.
It's like
that really shouldn't be a conversation you're having with a grown adult. But...
I know. It's I just don't understand how any person can go see somebody for services and not be clean.
Just any services where someone's touching you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. Like
I had my smear test a few days ago, and I was like, I'm clean, I've showered, I've done all this, and it went perfectly fine and things. But like, I don't know how something for that small, I don't know how people, especially when it's a girlfriend experience or anal, I don't understand why people can't wash themselves correctly.
I think it's a lack of education, genuinely. Like, I think that, like, there's so much shame and stigma around that I think a lot of people just don't get taught how to wash themselves correctly. Like, genuinely. But...
yeah, I mean, I've had clients who will come in and they stink of BO. Absolutely. And then they take their clothes off and it's like...
yeah.
But even after a shower, they still smell.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how do I tell this person? But then they get the text afterwards.
Yeah.
There was a guy who, aside from like all the smelly asses and whatnot, and people not giving themselves enemas, or giving themselves enemas incorrectly.
Oh. Oh no. I can just imagine that.
There's been times. There's been horrible times. Or when it's like an... because usually strap-on is, for me, in a BDSM session.
Yeah.
If it is in escort, and sometimes it hasn't been discussed.
Yeah.
The guy... while like we're 69 or something like that, we'll be like, oh, stick a finger in, and I'm just like, let me get my fucking gloves.
Yeah.
And luckily I bring them the majority of everywhere.
Yeah.
Because that has happened where like the guy has spontaneously been like, oh, do this and that, and I'm just like, bro, you stink.
Yeah.
Like, it's gross. And like, I know if other sex workers like listen to this, it could be like, oh, screen your clients and make sure they don't smell and they wash properly, and it's like, that's not going to happen. Like, for some people, yeah, if you want to go have a free trip, free little dinner date or something, little chat, you can go do that, but that is not what I'm about. I'm not about going to see somebody before they have paid me.
Yeah.
Or even after they've paid me. I'm not... They can pay for me to go to a cafe with them or something. And then I will sniff them, which, I don't know. Like, what are you going to do? Sniff their ass as well while you're at it?
Yeah.
Like, there is no way to make sure that on this particular day, this person will be clean. It is very unpredictable.
Yeah.
And that is what this job is.
Yeah.
Where you could have a client for years and they could just drop their hygiene regime whenever they see you, basically. But yeah. And it could get better if you mention it to them, or it could get worse, or like they could do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Because there are clients who will purposely come see you and shit all over you, literally, because they get off on that in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Sounds amazing.
Like, I don't encourage sex work to other people because there are downsides and it is a lot of burnout. It's
a very droll.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you do certain things in the industry, even if it's just doing adult baby or what is like a
non-sexual services.
Yeah,
that are still
people
kinks.
can still stink a BO. People can still not have their hygiene, or people could have bad breath.
Yeah,
you know,
we're all animals at the end of the day. Like, yeah.
So yeah, I've forgotten the original question.
We went way off piece, but a lot of this was also questions we were going to discuss, so it's totally fine. Just kind of going back a wee touch when you were speaking about not meeting clients beforehand. What is your kind of vetting process? What and what's the kind of ideal like reception of that? Like, what would be like the dream, and then what's like the worst case scenario? Like,
my vetting. I know a lot of sex workers and people who know about sex work are gonna like, but I don't check the passports. I don't check the ID or anything like that. You can come to me like anonymously in some way, shape, or form. And I understand that's not how other people do it, but it's how I do it. Sometimes I require a deposit. The majority, 99% of the time, I require a deposit. In the past, I have not. I just haven't. And that's just because of changed circumstances.
Yeah.
And I have previously gotten into, not necessarily arguments, but disputes with other sex workers. Because, like, you can die no matter what. You can get raped.
You can avoid risk, but you're never going to get rid of it entirely.
Exactly. Like, what? So the only things that I can think of, and anybody correct me if I'm wrong, but the only things you can do if you are sexually assaulted, raped, killed, you have their ID.
Yeah.
Cool, so you've got a name. You've got possibly an address. Cool. And an image. That's it. Which you can track somebody down with. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
But that is also if the police care.
Yeah.
There's a lot of elements to it, I feel. And it'll depends if somebody cares. So, yes, it's good if you absolutely screen your clients. And I would encourage people to do that.
Yeah, totally.
And people can think of me as like silly and things. I don't fully screen clients. But this is just the way I've done it.
Yeah.
And it's worked fine for me.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is horror stories of other people and things like that. Like, I have been like stealthed before.
Yeah.
I have had a guy.
Sorry, do you want to explain what stealthing is, just in case anybody doesn't know?
So stealthing is when somebody slyly, without your consent and knowledge, takes off the condom mid-sex, basically. Yeah. I guess you can do it with oral as well, to be fair. But yeah, without your knowledge, without your consent. And that was not fun.
No.
But I chased him out the building. That was nice.
That is sexual assault. Like, that's
absolutely.
Yeah.
I possibly still have his number. But I've never went to like the police or anything like that, because I would rather report it within the community rather than going to the police, because I don't really think they would help that much. I think it would be sadly more trouble for me rather than actually going.
Yeah, which is so sad. Like, it shouldn't be like that. Do you know what I mean? You should not feel like you cannot go to the police. but it's just the way that
it's like reality, really.
Mm-hmm. And I totally understand.
Yeah.
It's really sad. Like, that's the whole fucking point in the police, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's literally what they're fucking there for.
Yeah.
I'm just so angry today for some reason. It's probably just all the fucking horrible shit that's going on in the world.
But yeah, I would encourage screening your clients because if anything does happen, you have all their information.
Mm-hmm.
Because some sex workers even go as far as to get their like job and things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in references as well. Because recently there's been a lot of commotion about how references mean shit.
References like what you would have if you were getting like a.
So like this was the previous mistress who I've saw.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't trust any of that.
Why would that, like, traditionally, we'll say generally, I feel like mistresses want to keep their clients. So why would they sit and write them a reference for them to go elsewhere?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm not saying it would never happen, but, like, it seemed... Aye.
So there are mistresses out there who understand, like, I understand that that clients can have a different mistress every month and things.
But would you write them a reference?
No.
That's so much work. Like, how much?
I wouldn't, because it doesn't matter.
It doesn't make any difference to you.
Yeah. Well, it's more, they could be peachy with me and then absolutely horrible with this mistress.
Yeah, totally.
So the reference means fuck all. Because I'm not your landlord.
Yeah.
You're not getting another property or something. You're not getting a job.
Yeah.
The references
there's no like a performance like a review. You know what I mean? To like back up. I
think what we say now really in the industry, most of us, is just don't trust a client at all.
Yeah.
Don't ever be on their side. Sorry. But it's way too easy for them to screw us over.
Yeah. Because people lie all the time.
Exactly, which is why I would never give a reference.
Yeah.
Because people
then you're putting your name to that person. And that just...
Exactly.
Aye. Like, why would you do that for somebody that... Even if you've known them a few years, like, you're not having a personal relationship with them to know what they're like all the time. You know what they're like for that period of time where you're, like, fulfilling a fantasy for them, where they're, like, potentially acting out with how they normally are.
Yeah.
Like,
there was a guy who he had, if he listens, he'll know who he is, because I've only came across somebody who has actively went out with, what is it called? They're on this bottom. They're not herpes.
What? Hernia? No.
They're not herpes. They're like, they're not moles.
Not histamine.
No.
It's another H, isn't it? Like I know what you...
He's got warts.
Right, okay.
That's what he's got.
Yeah.
So he's got anal warts.
Yeah.
And they're quite there. But with warts, they spread.
Yeah.
By touch and things like that.
Yeah.
And he was trying to convince me to session with him. And I was like, no. And he was like, oh, well, I've sessioned with this mistress. And he was like, oh, she's been okay with it and everything.
Yeah.
So I asked her. And she was like, no, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I did message another worker. And she was like, oh, yeah, I've seen him and whatnot and things. But I still didn't see him because...
Yeah.
No.
Because that doesn't make a difference to where your boundaries are.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, why would it?
Absolutely. So, yeah. I would definitely say screen your clients, but don't believe the references.
Yeah.
Take them with a pinch of salt. Because it's not necessarily the mistress's reputation up for stake. It is a wee bit her giving a reference, but it's also if the client fucks up. Like, why would you fuck it up so much?
Yeah.
When a mistress, a reputable
reputable.
Yeah. A mistress has given you a review.
Yeah.
A reference. Because there has been people on like adult work who clients, they've had such good feedback and then I've seen them and have been a total dick.
Yeah. Has this been like on the website?
Yeah.
Has it got people's names attached or is it like anonymous?
Names attached.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not just like paid for like reviews then? Do you know what I mean? See how people can do that with like eBay and stuff? I don't know. It's not the same, but like, aye.
Yeah.
It's still like reviews online on a website, so.
Yeah. And like you have to make a booking and you have to accept it.
Yeah, so it's quite like regulated. It's not just like random faceless.
A wee bit, yeah. I mean, somebody on the site itself, they can make a booking and they can give you a review.
Yeah.
Like I've had somebody like dox me and things.
Yeah.
And thankfully adult workers like taking it down. And, but it's regulated in some way, like it's watched.
Yeah.
But with the adult work system, they can comment back.
Right.
So, for example, if I give a negative review, they can comment underneath.
Oh.
And then they can give me a negative review.
Yeah.
So.
Aye. So it's not really worth your time doing that.
No.
Because you're potentially getting abuse and then also getting like revenge. Like,
yep.
Yep.
And if the punter is on any forums, then I could get slandered.
Yep.
You can get a lot of backlash, which is why we have certain websites and things that we
within
can help.
like the community.
Yeah. So that helps. But yeah, some people are afraid to like give feedback in a negative light, which is absolutely fair, and I've been there and whatnot.
Cool. The next few question, I'm just going to put like two into one. So, just a wee bit about like when you meet a client for the first time and can do like a briefing of like what they're interested in, and also like what equipment they want to use and stuff. And again, just kind of like the ideal of that and like the worst case of that. Like, if you've got any stories.
So if you're nervous, that's absolutely fine. I will try and put you at ease in any way possible, basically. So yeah, just come in. You can have a cup of tea, we can have a chat, we can talk in detail, we can spend however long you want talking about the session. I absolutely love it when you tell me if you have any previous meetings with mistresses. I don't go into detail with like what their names are or anything like that. I don't care. Every mistress has their style, but I want to know what you've done, how you've done it, and what you've enjoyed and what you've disliked.
Yeah.
Because that helps me draw a picture of what we're going to do. And it's not going to be the exact same, obviously. It's going to be different in some manner.
Yeah, because it's going to have your wee flair on it. But
exactly. Yeah. But yeah, examples are great. Like, one thing which I do ask people is, what porn do you watch?
Yeah.
What do you get off on? Yeah. It's very easy, very simple. And we can just explore.
Yeah.
Don't ever like be afraid to not tell me the truth. And we go by, well, I go by the traffic light system. So green, you're enjoying it. Amber, not so much. And red, you do not like it.
Yeah.
Red for me does not mean stop. You say stop.
Yeah.
And then we can take a break. Breaks are absolutely possible. It is all up to you. I would say disclose any medical things you have had done. I have been in sessions where somebody's heart rate has went really fucking high. And I'm like, well, you might die if we carry on. So we're going to take a break and you can have a glass of water.
Yeah.
And I've had sessions where a guy multiple times has like fainted on me.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he didn't disclose something, or?
Yes. He had a bit of fainting spells.
Yeah.
in that like recent week and the week before, I believe.
Yeah.
And he didn't disclose that to me. So here's me, 5'5", dealing with somebody who is at least 6'6".
Yeah.
Trying to get them off a cross.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great. And then I think I was like, right, go doctors, everything like that. And he came back like a week later, I think, and then fainted again.
Yep.
And then...
Did you change tactics?
Oh, it was like... It was nothing with like what I was doing. It turned out he had like a heart problem or something.
Ah, right, okay.
Because he gave me like a follow-up a week later or something like that. And he was like, thank you so much, because like I've got like heart problems, I'm taking meds now or something like that. But yeah, there's been times where people haven't disclosed stuff, like if you've got like PTSD or if you don't like enclosed spaces or being tight or something like that, tell me.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because it's there to enhance your session.
Totally.
I have had a session, if you want to call it that, where a guy has walked in. And this was when I first moved to Scotland, and I had a small little room with a bed which had granny covers on it and things, because I loved the vintage look. And it looked so innocent, and like I think I had like teddies and things with my BDSM gear.
Yeah.
Just looking all adorable. And the guy came in, looked at like the shackles I had, gave me the money, and walked back out because he was that afraid.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I was like, oh. I didn't feel bad, but I felt like sad for him.
Yeah.
Because he was that nervous. He just couldn't do it. And then he ended up becoming one of my clients, which I saw on a regular basis, weekly.
Once he kind of got past the...
Yeah. Because I think the next time I went to him, because it was in his own space, he knew.
To just kind of try and bring him out his shell a wee bit. Oh, that was really nice.
Yeah, it was alright. And then he got too obsessed and he said he loved me. I was like, no.
But you fixed them.
To some extent.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He realised he was more into BDSM, I want to say. And specific kinks.
Just to check, by the way, so is this kind of pre-chat included in the time of the session? Yeah,
absolutely. Like, as I said, the chat doesn't... Usually the chat's just like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But it can be as long as you want. I know there are clients who do not like to have a chat.
But you're not a mind reader. Like,
exactly. Yeah, there's some clients who don't want to have a chat and they'll just expect me to know what to do, which I can understand. It's my job. But if I put electrics on you and you like shoot through the roof and whatnot, and you get scared or you just don't like it, then that's not my fault.
Yeah, because you've not been told that they don't like that. So how would you know? Exactly. It gives them a better experience because you're not having to like check in about everything all the way through.
Yeah.
Like, 10 minutes is going to save more time to like it taking up time in the actual session. Cool. I think that is pretty much us. Other than if you want to do a wee spiel about how people can contact you.
So I do have my adult work. So Porcelain Victoria is the name which I go on a few websites. You can contact me on Professional Mistresses. My details are there. There is, I think, I'm not quite sure about that one actually. My Twitter, Mistress PD. You will find my links all there, everything on my links page. And
which is also connected to the podcast links page, so it should be quite easy to find if you follow us on any social medias. It's all attached, so
it's all there. You will be able to get like my mobile number from one of those links, possibly more than one. But yeah, you can contact me there, and my own website, porcelaindolly.co.uk. where you'll find the rates and the forms and my emails and things.
Yeah, cool. As always, we've got a wee 10% discount for you guys at thesanctuaryofsin.com. If you use Behind the Paddle at the checkout, you'll get that added to your basket. But other than that, thank you so much, guys, for listening. This has been Behind the Paddle podcast.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.